Good afternoon, students. Today's lecture, it's about ankle joint. So these are the specific learning objectives. At the end of this session, we should be able to explain the bones articulating and the ligaments stabilizing the joint, the movements and the muscles producing them, okay, at the ankle joint. So these are the specific learning objectives for today's lecture. Ankle joint. What is ankle joint? So you know the ankle joint, the anatomical name, it is otherwise called talocrural joint. It is a strong weight-bearing joint of the lower limb. Okay, so the body weight is transmitted, okay, through the ankle joint over the forefoot and the hind foot. Okay, so of course the weight is distributed equally at the ankle joint. For suppose 50 lbs weight is transmitted over the ankle joint, so again it is distributed into 25 lbs over the forefoot to 25 lbs over the hind foot. So that is how the weight is reduced, okay, from above downwards, okay, by these joints, mainly the hip joint. Then comes the ankle joint. At the ankle joint, it is again distributed, okay, to the forefoot and hind foot. So that is significance of the ankle joint. So it is a synovial joint of hinge variety. Okay, so that's about a introduction part. Coming to the articular surfaces of the ankle joint. So the ankle joint has got the proximal articular surface and the distal articular surface. Okay. So proximally, the articular surface is it is made up of the lower end of the tibia, including the medial malleolus. The lateral malleolus was formed by the fibula, the inferior tibiofibular ligament. So these are the structures in the diagram. You can see the tibiofibular mortise formed by these structures. Lower end of the tibia with medial malleolus, the inferior tibiofibular ligament. Of course, already I have explained this in the osteology class. Syndesmosis. You can see the syndesmosis, inferior tibiofibular joint, along with the lower end of the fibula. Of course, there we are forming tibiofibular mortise. Okay, so mortise means so any structure that interlocks with the other one. So thereby it becomes more stable. So that is called mortise. The distal articular surface of the ankle joint is formed by the articular facets on the upper, medial, and lateral aspects of the body of the talus. So this is the body of the talus. The upper part, the medial surface, lateral surface, upper surface. So thereby you can see how the mortise is placed. So this surface is concave and this surface is convex. Okay, so these two surfaces that interlock each other, so thereby it makes the joint more stable. So that is what is called tibiofibular mortise. Okay, so which is concave articular surface of the ankle joint. The stability of the ankle joint, as I told already, it is highly stable. So that is because of the close interlocking of its articular surfaces. So with the help of the mortise and the strong medial and lateral collateral ligaments also that makes the joint more stable. The deepening of tibiofibular socket, so the mortise, posteriorly by the inferior transverse tibiofibular ligament. So the deepening by this ligament also, that is the reason for the stability of ankle joint. So apart from these structures, so we have the tendons that crossing the joint in front and behind. So 4 tendons in front and 5 tendons behind. So crossing the ankle joint, so that also that makes the ankle joint very stable. So apart from the tendons, we have the other ligaments of the joint that makes the joint stable. Okay, so it is a tightly packed and a highly stable joint, ankle joint. So because of these factors, what are the ligaments? The ligaments of the ankle joint. So we have the first ligament. Of course, the capsular ligament is the first ligament for all the joints. The fibrous capsule is surrounding the two articular surfaces. So that becomes the first ligament, and the medial and lateral collateral ligaments. Okay, so apart from the capsular ligament, the external strengthening is mainly because of the medial collateral ligament and the lateral collateral ligaments. So coming to the fibrous capsule. So the fibrous capsule, of course, it surrounds the joint completely. It is attached to the articular margins of joint all around, with two exceptions. So that is the posterior superiorly, it is attached to the inferior transverse tibiofibular ligament. And the anterior inferiorly, it is attached to the dorsum of the neck of the talus at some distance from the trochlear surface. So the joint capsule is thin in front and behind, supposed to allow the movements, the plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, the movements, the uniaxial movements of the ankle joint. Okay. To allow these movements, the capsule is thin in front and behind. Okay. Of course, it is thick on either side where it blends with the medial collateral and lateral collateral ligaments. The synovial lines the membrane. The synovial membrane lines the inner surface of the joint capsule, but it ceases at periphery of the articular cartilage. So that's about the synovial membrane lining the inner surface of the capsule. Of course. Okay. That's about the fibrous capsule, the first ligament. And coming to the very important ligament, what is called the deltoid ligament, which is seen over the medial aspect of the ankle joint. This is very important on short notes also. The deltoid ligament is very strong triangular ligament. It is triangular in shape on the medial side of the ankle. It is divided into two parts. It has got superficial part, deep part. So above, both the parts have a common attachment to the apex and the margins of the medial malleolus. Okay. So superiorly, the attachment is common. That is, as it is triangular in shape, the apex of the triangle, it is attached to the margins of medial malleolus, but inferiorly. So if you trace the triangular shaped ligament, the apex is directed upwards and the base is directed downwards. So the base of the ligament, it has got superficial. The inferior attachment of this ligament has got superficial and deep parts. Okay. So the attachments that differs inferiorly or below. Superficial part, the inferior attachments. So it has got, again, it is divided into three parts, the superficial parts. So we have the anterior fibers, the middle fibers, the posterior fibers. The anterior fibers are tibio-navicular, from tibia to the navicular bone. In the middle fibers, we have tibio-calcaneum, from tibia to the calcaneum bone. And the posterior fibers, we have posterior tibio-talar, from tibia to the talus again. Okay. So this is the tibia, medial malleolus. What is this? What are these fibers? You can see the fibers here. This is called tibio-navicular. So the tibio-navicular are attached to tuberosity of the navicular bone, the medial margins of the spring ligament. Medial margins of the spring ligament. You can see the spring ligament here. The middle aspect of the ankle joint. Okay. The diagram depicts the deltoid ligament and its attachments. The middle fibers, the tibio-calcaneum fibers from the tibia to the sustentaculum tali. You can see this is the medial projection over the calcaneum, so which supports the head of the talus. That is why it is called sustentaculum tali. So as it's supporting the head of the talus, so this is the medial projection in the calcaneum, and that gives attachment to the middle fibers. The posterior fibers, we have posterior tibio-talar. You can see from the tibia to the talus. So these three constitutes the superficial part of the medial ligament, what is called the deltoid ligament. So that's about the superficial part. Coming to the deep part has got anterior tibio-talar. Anterior tibio-talar, those fibers constitutes the deep part of the medial ligament or deltoid ligament. So we have the posterior tibio-talar also. You can see here the posterior tibio-talar that comes under the posterior fibers of superficial part. But the same fibers, of course, the same name. So we have the posterior tibio-talar, the same name of the tibio-talar, which is placed anteriorly. So that becomes the deep part of the medial or deltoid ligament. Okay. So that's about the attachments of the deltoid ligament. The triangular shape, apex is directed upwards and base is directed downwards, consisting of superficial part and deep part. Okay, so that's about the medial ligament or medial collateral or deltoid ligament. Okay, so coming to the lateral collateral ligament. So this lateral collateral ligament consists of three parts again. So we have anterior talofibular, posterior talofibular, and the calcaneofibular. Calcaneofibular. So these are the three parts of the lateral collateral ligament of ankle joint. So the anterior talofibular ligament. The anterior talofibular is a weak flat band which extends forward and medially from the anterior margins of lateral malleolus to the neck of the talus, just in front of the fibular facet. Okay, so that's about the anterior talofibular ligament. So you can see the anterior talofibular. So this ligament, okay, and the posterior talofibular. So that comes here. It is a strong band, so which extends backward and medially from the posterior margins of lateral malleolus to the posterior tubercle of the talus. So apart from these two, so we have one more the band, that is the calcaneofibular. So this ligament is a long rounded cord which runs downwards and backwards from the notch on the lower border of lateral malleolus to the tubercle on the lateral surface of the calcaneum. So tubercle or the lateral surface of the calcaneum. So that's about the attachments of the lateral collateral ligament of the ankle joint. Okay, so consisting of three parts. So it's not like the medial collateral ligament, which is having superficial part, deep part. Okay. So that's about the ligaments strengthening the ankle joint. So coming to the relations of the ankle joint. So what are the structures? Okay. So that comes in front, behind, post medial and lateral. Okay. So we have the anteriorly, we have tibialis anterior, the extensor hallucis longus tendons. Okay, anterior tibial artery, deep peroneal nerve, extensor digitorum longus, and peroneus tertius. The tendons of tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, and the extensor digitorum longus and peroneus tertius, accompanied by the neurovascular bundle. We have anterior tibial artery, so that accompanies the deep peroneal nerve. Hope you know the fate of the deep peroneal nerve, and the anterior tibial artery continues as the dorsalis pedis, and the deep peroneal nerve becomes cutaneous, subcutaneous, and supplies the skin or the first cleft or the dorsum of the foot. So that's about the anterior relations of the ankle joint. So come to the posterior relations of the ankle joint. Posteriorly, it is strengthened by, of course, these tendons. Already we discussed in the stability of the ankle joint. So anteriorly, posteriorly, so we have the tendons that stabilizes the ankle joint also. So posteriorly, we have the tibialis posterior tendon, flexor digitorum longus, posterior tibial artery, posterior tibial nerve, and the flexor hallucis longus. Of course, what is this called? Tibial nerve. Okay, it is not posterior, tibial nerve. What is this called? Tibial nerve. Posterior tibial artery accompanied by the tibial nerve. Okay, and the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus. So these structures that comes posteriorly, and these structures comes anterior to the ankle joint. So very nice diagram. You can see the structures in front and behind the ankle joint. Okay. So these are the interrelations, okay, the tendons of the muscles, and accompanied with the neurovascular bundle, the tibial, this is the deep peroneal nerve, and anterior tibial artery, posterior tibial artery, tibial nerve with these tendons. Okay, so that's about the ankle joint relations. Arterial supply, it is the malleolar branches of anterior tibial artery and the posterior tibial and peroneal arteries that supplies the ankle joint. The nerve supply is supplied by the deep peroneal nerve, the articular twigs from the deep peroneal nerve and the tibial nerve. Okay, it supplies the ankle joint. So that's about the relations, the nerve supply, blood supply of the ankle joint. Come to the movements of the ankle joint. So as the ankle joint is uniaxial, okay, the movements that take place along only one axis. So we have dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. Okay, so what are the muscles responsible for the dorsiflexion? What are the muscles responsible for the plantar flexion? So we have, of course, the main muscles and the muscles which assist the the main muscle. Okay, so the main muscle of the dorsiflexion is tibialis anterior. So it is assisted by the extensor distorum longus, extensor hallucis longus, and peroneus osseus. So the main muscle for the plantar flexion is gastrocnemius and soleus. So these muscles again supplement assisted by the plantaris, tibialis posterior, flexor hallucis longus, and flexor distorum longus. So that's about the two movements at the ankle joint. So we have the dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, and the main muscles responsible for the movements and the muscles which assist the main muscles. Okay, so that's about the movements. So coming to the clinical correlation of the ankle joint, the ankle joint is prone for the ankle sprains while you are walking on the uneven surfaces. Okay, so that leads to the suddenly that leads to a sudden or the avulsion of the forced, okay, what is the inversion or eversion of the foot that leads to the ankle sprain. Okay, ankle sprain, the excessive stretching and the tearing of the ligaments takes place at the ankle joint. So what is called the ankle sprain, okay, so that is mainly because of the forced inversion or the eversion. Okay, so that leads to the, so while you are walking on the uneven surface, that is the main reason for the ankle sprains. Okay, so usually caused by the falls from height also, and the twisted ankle, that is called the twist, that is because of over the uneven surface or okay, so that is that's about the sprains. When the plantar flexed foot is excessively inverted and the anterior and superior tibiofibular and calcaneofibular ligaments are stretched and torn. Okay, so that is also the clinical aspect of the ankle joint. The anterior talofibular ligament is most commonly torn. Okay, so at the time of the sprain, so these are the ligaments that involves. So mainly the anterior talofibular ligament is most commonly torn. Okay, so that's about the clinical correlations, the concentrate on the ankle sprains. Okay, that is mainly because of the inverted, excessively inverted. Okay, okay. The that is main. The reason is the falls from the height or the twisted ankle. Okay. And apart from the ankle sprains, we have the dislocations of the ankle. The dislocations of the ankle joint are rare. That's because it is very highly stable. It's a very stable joint due to the tibiofibular mortise. Already we discussed. Okay, so if at all, if it is dislocated or if it is fractured, so we can see the multiple fractures because this is the joint is tightly packed. Okay, so it is if at all, if any fractures or any injury, so that leads to the multiple fractures. So whenever the dislocation, it is always accompanied with fractures of one of the malleoli. So one of the malleoli. So that leads to the dislocation. Okay. So if any fracture, then only the dislocation will take place because of the highly stable joint. So what is called Pott's fracture? The fracture dislocation of the ankle. Okay, that's called. So it occurs when the foot is caught in the rabbit hole and everted forcibly. So in this condition, the following sequence of events takes place. Okay, so suddenly, if you by mistake, if you keep the foot, suddenly if the foot is placed in the ditch or the rabbit hole, so that leads to the forced eversion of the ankle joint. So that leads to the Pott's fracture. So these are the sequence of events. So the oblique fracture of the lateral malleolus due to internal rotation of the tibia, and the transverse fracture of the medial malleolus due to the pull by the strong deltoid ligament. The fracture of posterior margins of lower end of the tibia because it is carried forward. That's about the sequence of events. So these stages are also termed first, second, and third degree of Pott's fracture. Okay, so respectively, the third degree of Pott's fracture is also called trimalleolar fracture. Trimalleolar, the fracture of the posterior margins of lower end of the tibia. Okay, so that is called the third malleolus. Okay, the posterior margins of lower end of the tibia is called third malleolus because it is carried forward. Okay, so that's about the trimalleolar fracture. and the POTS fracture. Okay. So to summarize, so what is the ankle joint? The articular surfaces, we have to describe the proximal articular surface and the distal articular surface. We have the ligaments, mainly the medial collateral, lateral collateral. The medial collateral is very important short notes, otherwise called the deltoid ligament. The relations of the joint, blood supply, nerve supply, the movements and clinical aspects. Okay. The clinical aspects, the ankle sprain is very important. Okay. Short notes. Okay. So the main questions, sometimes the gross anatomy of ankle joint, we have to describe the articular surfaces, relations, the blood supply, nerve supply, everything is all together called gross anatomy of the ankle joint for 5 marks. And the deltoid ligament is very important short notes for 5 marks. Ankle sprain is for 2 marks. So that's about the ankle joint. Thank you. Thank you for your patience listening.